Well, thank you, Governor, for receiving us this morning. It's an honor and a privilege to come and see you at the premises of the Central Bank. It's my first time in this premises, and it's a statement about the seriousness of the bank itself to have put this together. But much more importantly, what you've demonstrated to those of us who believe that another Nigeria is really possible is a profile in courage and a profile in boldness on the issues that you have chosen to tackle, issues that really underscore the very basis of our stability as a country, economic stability, and what you've done in your restructuring of the banking sector speaks volume, not just about your personality, but also about where we really ought to be in this country as a people. And we have to make up our mind whether we want to run a serious institution and a serious government, or whether we just want to continue to tinker at the edges. And for those who don't want to do that, they must see you as an inspiration. They have to see you as someone who has done a lot against all odds. And we all know what the odds are in this country when you are a reformer. There's so many hoops to jump. There's so many cogs in the wheel of progress. And I just want to say that for us, as a young government that is also interested in openness, in transparency, in accountability, and in performance, because at the end of the day, electoral legitimacy is one thing, performance credibility is another in government, and that is what can earn us the trust of our people. And that's what we will have to depend on if we're going to go back to them for any support in future. So to that extent, I must start this by commending your courage, commending your boldness, commending your leadership of this great institution of ours. And we must also thank you for the work that's going on in your branch in Ekiti. I see that a lot of progress has been made on that, and that hopefully very soon we shall host you to a formal opening of that institution, which I guess brings us fully into the annals of being a Nigerian state. I guess we must have a central bank branch in your state in order to qualify, not just a cash center. We have a cash center now, but a full-fledged branch in the state, which we're going to have soon. There are also things that are of interest to us that you're already working on and that we greatly want to support and solicit your own assistance on. The great work you're doing on agriculture, CACs, we've now finalized our loan with First Bank on CACs, and we've been part of NERSO. We've attended the meetings, and very soon we will also send you a draft investment plan that we're putting together as a state on the key items that are of value to us and where we have comparative advantage in cocoa, in oil palm, in cassava and rice. So for us, those are the issues that we're going to be focusing on, and I would share that with you for your advice and your support. Of course, the work that's going on infrastructure support too is of interest to us as a state, and a very young one at that, probably one of the youngest states in the country. Infrastructure is not what it ought to be. Well, generally in the country, infrastructure is not what it ought to be, but for us in Ekiti, it's even at the lower end of the scale, and we really want to push this up and do what we can to support this process. In the interim, what we've done is to start an approach to the capital market for the bond, and we're at the final stage. We've gone to NSE now to SEC now for their own approvals, and we were with the Ministry of State Finance yesterday, and it confirmed that it received the letter to be endorsed by the President, and it's purely focusing on capital projects that are regenerative. We feel that if we do that, then we make Ekiti a better destination for investors, for tourists, and for those who believe that this is a state where to do business. So that's another area where we would be soliciting for support and assistance, because one of the banks we're working with, Access, I know they're quite involved in the infrastructure work that the central bank is also engaged in. Outside of these, we just want to really associate ourselves with what is happening in this great institution. We're glad that we have a couple of our own sons and daughters involved here, very much geared towards realizing the objectives we've set. I know that you have the special advisor in your office who is an Ekiti lady, and I know a couple of people.
A very parochial one.
And I know a couple of people in the research department and in some other departments of the institution. We always try as much as possible not to do the Nigerian thing of insisting you must put our people but to say that where they seem to excel, they must be given the chance to really prove themselves. And I noticed from the list of directors that you've also appointed for the new banks that we have a couple too there, including Ni Adebayo, excellent. It was junior of mine in
She was just complaining yesterday that there aren't enough Ekiti people on the list.
Well, she has to do that. No. The more we can get, as long as they're competent, we'll be happy to do that. So, and for us, it's just to solicit once again for your own leadership and partnership in a number of these issues, and where we also have to speak out politically. We will not hesitate to support the work the bank is doing. At the Governors Forum, some of us are already doing that, and as an individual, I am unapologetic about my fan club, leading the SLS fan club as far as strengthening this institution is concerned. And I'm also happy that I at least know my brother, the Deputy Governor, very well. I know of Dr. Mogalo by reputation and when he was outside, and of course my Oga was my deputy's boss in the UBA, so I feel at home. It's a natural terrain where excellence reigns, and we at all times will always be associated with where excellence rather than mediocrity supersedes. Thank you.
We don't want to crowd them out. Then we'll do with the dog.
That door is
okay.
She's a very cute.